All right, so welcome, Bob. It's fantastic to see you today and have your company here to hear your nuggets of wisdom that you're going to be sharing with us.
Thank you so much for having me, Carrie. It is a thrill to be with you today.
Thank you. So, everybody, I'd like to welcome Bob. He's now the manager of partnerships and education for Leadpages, and he's very focused on supporting coaches, healers, entrepreneurs, people just like you to market their services and attract clients. But he wasn't always in IT. He used to be a high school teacher. And Bob, I'm quite fascinated by that. What did you used to teach?
Yeah, I used to teach world history for a number of years, US history, and also a world religions elective. And those were all in a high school in Maryland in the eastern part of the United States.
Fantastic. And what was it that enticed you into the world of IT and Leadpages in particular?
Yeah, well, in 2007 is when I left the classroom. A couple of years before that, like many teachers, I had a side hustle. It was in creating websites for summer camps, other tutors, and things like that, and eventually into generating more revenue online. And as I'm sure you are familiar with so many other opportunities that are out there, sometimes some work out really well and sometimes they don't work out very well. And so I had a little bit of both, but what I was really good at was helping people understand the online technology that helped them to get more leads or to get their business to be seen online. And eventually that's what took off for me as an entrepreneur. And like I said, in 2007, that led to me having my own business. I did join the Leadpages team at first as an affiliate, actually, customer number 33. And then eventually I joined the team and I've been there almost 10 years now.
Wow, that's a long time. Fantastic. And I understand your philosophy is rather similar to mine of take action now and revise later as a way to build momentum and motivation. What can you share about that?
Yeah, well, I'm by nature a procrastinator. So first of all, it comes a little bit from trying to get my own butt in gear when it came to getting things in motion. And so the idea behind take action, revise later is that you can really fall victim to procrastination if you're not careful. And for people like you and your audience who are transforming the lives of the people that they work with, our procrastination actually harms the people we want to help, right? The longer it takes for us to put something out into the world, assuming that we want to try to make it perfect, actually delays the help that we can give to people. So eventually I kind of got hit myself upside the head with a little bit of some help from coaches as well, that it doesn't need to be perfect. It just needs to be impactful. And it's always you always have the opportunity to change and to revise after it's out there. So whether you're trying to create your first course or your first program or your first ebook, your first lead magnet, your first landing page, your first website, whatever it is, be okay with it being the best that you can do right now, and then take action on that, but also revise later. Don't just throw it out there and forget about it. This world of set and forget is just, it doesn't really exist. In truth, it's a nice pipe dream, but really we want to put things out there, and then based on the real world feedback we get, and that can take the form of sales, lack of sales, the impact we want, the impact we don't want, all those can be a feedback loop that makes us able to revise later.
Absolutely. I love that, Bob. Love that. Sometimes just getting into action can be motivating in itself rather than the what do I do? So I absolutely love that. So, websites, landing pages. A number of my clients and my audience get very confused with whether they should have a website, what's a landing page. Can you share your wisdom on this and clarify the difference between the two, first of all?
Yeah, that's a really good question, because fundamentally we want to have a presence online, and that can take a number of forms. And what I try to steer people away from is thinking that they have to have this really super robust website that they pay $5,000 to some agency for, that takes 3 months to build out, that takes a week to change, that just doesn't allow you to have the freedom of innovation and pivoting. because that can be really paralyzing to a business, especially to a newer one. If you've been in business for a while, maybe you already have a website and you realize maybe it's not looking like 2024 or later, and you want to make a change. Do you have the ability to make control or take control of it and to make adjustments? Whereas maybe you have a little bit of a pivot that you're trying to experiment with in your business. Maybe you're a coach, but you want to coach a little different audience. You have a website, it has all of the details of your current niche, and then you want to pivot to a different niche, but you're not quite sure that that's the niche you really want to go into for the next 5 years. Do you want to create a completely new website? Do you want to completely revamp the website that you have? Or could you make a small website, basically a mini site? We call those landing pages that can do the job for you. So technically speaking, a website is like the set of files and links on a domain, like yourname.com. My name is bobtheteacher.com is the the domain that I've used forever. You have that as your domain. What is on it? Is it a site with navigation and 5 to 10 to 100 different pages? That's a website. Is it just a landing page that has no navigation on it whatsoever? It just has a simple description of a challenge that you want to address, a solution that you're providing to people, and a way for them to take a first step. That usually takes the form of an exchange of an email address for a lead magnet, which I'm sure we'll talk about here in a minute. But the bottom line is that a landing page is a single page that people arrive to from an ad or social media click, or maybe it's a word of mouth referral. And it's super focused on one single challenge that one type of audience faces, with a solution that's ready for them to take action on. Whereas a website tries to paint the picture of all the things about your business and how you can help people out. At the end of the day, I'd love for you to have both. There's no reason for you to not have a website, but what I want to encourage you to do is, if you have neither, start with the landing page first and get yourself out there and send all your traffic to that one thing, and then build a second landing page and a third landing page that might address the different challenges your ideal audience faces, and then build a website based on your traction in the market. Again, don't go through and make this big, robust thing that's going to take 3 months for it to be built, because you don't have 3 months to wait to impact the lives of the people you want to help out. Again, I'm addressing those of you that are brand new. 3 months is a long time for you to make cash flow, right? And for those of you that are more experienced, isn't it more liberating if you can just make a landing page in a couple of hours in an afternoon and have something that you can promote and market based on an idea that you have, instead of feeling like you have to make this completely new WordPress website with all the plugins and all the security measures and all that stuff? Or even if you're using Leadpages website builder, that still takes, maybe a day or two to put together. You just don't need to take that kind of time to get your message out there in a way that's meaningful and that can impact the lives of the people that you face.
Beautiful. I love that. Get things out there. People need your services, so let them know what exists. And I love you mentioned that you would use a landing page for one focused activity, ideally to exchange a lead magnet, or my audience know I call them lead gifts, that invite into our world. What then would you say, Bob, is the one thing that your landing page must have? We've identified it's going to be focused on one action, offering your gift or your lead magnet. What's one thing that can make the biggest difference to make sure you include on your landing page?
That's a really, really great question. And I'll answer it kind of in reverse. Number one is, you don't need a logo. You don't need your photo. You don't need an about you. You don't need a long bio. You don't need anything about you. What you need is a way of expressing the challenge that people coming to this page feel right now, and the transformation they want to achieve as quickly as possible. If you can articulate that, you're going to win on your landing pages. Now, it's okay to have a logo. It's okay to have your photo. It's okay to have an about us page. But when you look at, like, for example, our template gallery, and we allow you to sort by conversion rate, when you see the highest converting pages, none of them at the top few racks have anything other than, here's a challenge you want to have addressed. I've got a gift for you to address it. And that's the end of the story. It's not even more than one scroll of a screen down. It's just one section. That's what I would start with. And then as you get a little bit more time in your week and you want to experiment with a couple of different variations, you can certainly add in more of those things. But what you want to do is you want to articulate the transformation people want, and a step one towards that transformation that you're giving away in this gift. If you can do that well and do it in a way that gets people excited about what's the next step, you're going to win. And by win, I mean, instead of 5% or 10% of the people saying yes, I mean 30, 40, 50% or more of the people who come to this page saying yes, giving you their email address, joining your email list, and then being able to progress through your own customer journey and hopefully hiring you in the near future, or working with a program or buying your course or whatever you happen to offer for sale.
Absolutely fantastic. Thank you, Bob. That is such nuggets of wisdom that we can all take on board and put into action. And one page that I find is not spoken about too often is what happens after the landing page. So you invite people, you talk about your gift, you highlight the transformation that they can achieve from taking it, they enter their name, their email. What then? What's Leadpages and your views on the next step, that thank you page? What would you put there?
Yeah, that's a very critical page. I'm glad that you're calling out this page, Carrie, because a lot of people do neglect it. They do forget about it. And in an email platform that you might happen to use, or even with Leadpages, if you don't put a page in there and you're not intentional about that page, it's a super generic page that says, thanks for signing up. If that, right? If you look at any online marketing funnel, we call them, you take that first step. What's that second page? Well, they've just given you their email address. And think about the last time you gave your email address to a stranger online and you click that submit button. What did you feel? Many times you might feel nervous that you just gave your email address to the dark web and you're going to start getting spammed with all this crap that isn't going to serve you very well. Or maybe somebody's going to sell your data to the highest bidder and all this kind of stuff. Hopefully you're not too skeptical about those types of things, because you're an online marketer of your own business. And this is kind of the things that we need to be thinking about. But that's a natural thought. So that first page that people hit, they need to feel like you didn't just rip them off. Now, we're not talking about you taking their money, but their email address is still very valuable to them, right? It's about their personality, their identity, but it's also about their time and their inbox, all that kind of stuff. You want to treat it as if they just gave you $1,000. What would that next step be? Well, the next step should say, how do you get the thing that you just asked for? It should also show some gratitude. So we call it a thank you page, because you should actually sincerely say, hey, thanks for giving me your email address. I don't take this lightly that you just gave me that information, and I'm going to send you some really great stuff, not only today, but also in the future. Mm-hmm. So there's 2 or 3 main things I want you to have on a thank you page. So one is that gratitude, but also how do they get the thing that they just asked for? So if you're giving away a checklist or a template or a video or whatever it happens to be, I would encourage you to have very clear instructions about how they're going to get it. Now, you might be tempted to put the thing they just asked for on the page with a download button or a video on the screen. I would not recommend that you do that, because if you do that, you're not going to be ensuring that the email address that they gave you is actually valid, or that they received your message, or that if they did receive your message, they actually read it, or that they'll read the ones that you give them in the future. This is really important, because technically you want to make it more likely for people not just to get that first message from you, but the second and the 5th and the 20th, because as a marketer of your business, your job in this email list building process is not to give away stuff for free, right? Your business is not just to help people. Your business is to help people profitably. Okay, so that means that you're going to eventually charge money for the things that you do for people, unless you're working a nonprofit. And even if you are doing that, you're still asking for donations, blah, blah, blah. So the point is that there is a money exchange that's going to happen eventually. 98% of people who come to that first page are not going to buy from you in the first instance of them seeing you, most likely. But that 3rd, 4th, maybe 6th or 7th time that they hear from you where you have an offer, that's when people start to have that ability to buy. Well, you can't have that 6th and 7th point of contact if you can't get their email address and can't get your emails opened by them. So when you have the thank you page and it says, go check your inbox now, include the subject line is so and so, it's coming to you from so and so, go open it now, and maybe even hit reply and give me an answer to a question. So the email itself, we'll talk about in a second if you'd like to, but the idea is that technically you want people to open up your emails, especially within the first 5 minutes of them receiving it, because that sends a signal to whatever their email provider is, whether it's Google or Yahoo or whatever it is, that your email is important to them. And especially if you wound up in their promotions tab or in a spam folder or something like that, if they go and they get it, they open it, they drag it over to their main inbox, the next time you send them an email, guess what? It's going to show up in the right place. So there's a lot of technical stuff under the hood, but the bottom line is your thank you page should not give away the thing that they asked for. It should tell them how to go get it. And then there's some more stuff we can do there, but I want to ask you, Kara, if there's anything to clarify from that or to reinforce from that first element of what a thank you page should include.
No, it makes perfect sense. And I love that you're saying this to let them know that they are in the right place, that they haven't just given their email to somebody who's they're never going to hear from again. Let them know what's going to happen now. And I 100% agree. I've been around for a long while and used to give the gift immediately. Big mistake years ago. I haven't done it for decades now. So I love that you've highlighted, let them know what's going to happen, direct them to their email inbox so that they can find your email, open your email, and then have access to the gift to download it or click a video or whatever your gift might happen to be. Absolutely love that. And I know you mentioned and teased us with there's something else that needs to go on that thank you page. And we've been talking about the power of one action, always taking that next step, leading people through. So I'd love to hear what you view the next step to be on that thank you page.
Yeah, well, you are a guide, right, in this journey that they're on, especially if you're a coach or a healer or some transformer of lives. You're a guide. You're walking them from step to step. Think of it as those like pavers that are across a river, and the challenge is the river, and you're trying to get them from where they are now to where they want to be, which is on the other bank. Well, in order for them to get there, you have to keep getting people in motion, right? It's a lot about inertia, and that momentum is going to get people to where they want to go. You're in charge of that, which means you're steering the ship. Don't assume that people know which is the next path to take. You have to guide them. And so for your business, it may be different than the next person's business, but there should always be a next step on that thank you page. The next step is not just go get the free thing. Okay. That's the step that you assume that they're going to have. The next step is going to be what's after they get that free thing. And by the way, what I'm about to share with you on that thank you page should also be in the lead magnet that you give away. So if you have a checklist or template or an assessment or whatever, that final page, if it's a PDF, should have the same call to action as what your thank you page bottom half says. And so for many of you, it might be, if you're in a hurry to fix this problem, get on my calendar. Okay, that's a good place for you to have a booking widget like from Calendly, or You Can Book Me, or whatever tool that you might happen to use. That's a great next step if you're in the business of consultations and coaching sessions to do some form of package. If you have a small end, a smaller ticket or small price first step book to consume or course to consume, and by small ticket I mean $20 to $100, something that doesn't require talking to a spouse, something that doesn't require a lot of deliberation, but gets them to understand that they can get some further momentum with buying something from you. You can have that on your thank you page. I wouldn't do both. Don't put both book a calendar appointment or buy this thing for me. Choose one of those two pathways. And if you do either one, it's really important that the language you use on this thank you page doesn't make it seem like what they asked for on the free page, on the opt-in page, is what you're selling to them, because that feels like a bait and switch, right? What I always like to phrase it as, in some language of your choice, of your choosing, is I just sent you the thing that's going to help you do X. If you're in a hurry to do X and Y and Z, here's the next step for that. Beautiful. And what you're really doing is a couple things. Number one, you are letting people know you have something else Okay. And that way they don't feel like they're going to get everything answered in that lead magnet. You don't want to give people the false sense of solution through the entirety of the challenges that they face by your lead magnet, because then they're never going to need you, right? They're never going to call you. They're never going to need to work with you. But at the same time, you want to plant the seed that what you have is worthwhile to pay for or to be on a call with you. So making sure that there's a logical transition between what they just asked for, that you're eager to see the results they get from that step one thing, but you also have step 2 and 3 ready to go when they're ready. Now, majority of the people who come to that thank you page are not going to take you up on the offer the first time they see it. So don't be, kind of surprised if 1 in 3 or 1 in 4 people book a time, or even less, or buy your product. That's okay. What you're doing though is you're planting the seed that you have more for them to absorb, more things for them to get to. And eventually, if your marketing is really dialed in with your social media, your ads, etc., then yeah, you will get 1 in 3 or 1 in 4, maybe even 2 out of 5 people who say yes to that initial offer, which is pretty darn good, right? 20 to 30% of people on the thank you page who've opted in saying yes to either booking time with you or buying something from you, again, in that $20 to $100 price range, is really good. And I'll tell you what, Carrie, if you can unlock that conversion rate with the right audience, and you can pay for some advertising to start funneling in, and what we in the business we call it a self-liquidating offer or a tripwire offer. It pays for your advertising. You're growing your list, you're growing your audience in a fashion that can scale as fast as you want to absorb new people into your world.
Beautiful. Absolutely love that. I love the focus on the power of one thing. And I want to highlight and emphasize either offer booking a call or a low ticket offer, or what I call a no-brainer offer that can then fund your ads so that it becomes, what did you say? Self-liquidating. I love that phrase.
Yeah.
Or I use it quite often to put invites to workshops. Mm-hmm. So that they have more opportunity to spend time as coaches, as healers, as counselors. The more somebody can see you and engage with you, the more likely they are to want to work with you. All can come, that invite can come on that thank you page, as you say, Bob. So I love that you've highlighted that. Absolutely fantastic. I'm very mindful of the time and the time that we're taking up of yours today. I'm hugely appreciative. And it would be remiss of me if I didn't ask you how Leadpages, and I've used Leadpages for decades and had some fabulous results with them. So Bob, share with us, would you, how Leadpages can help people to create their landing pages, their thank you pages, and indeed their websites.
Yeah, well, it takes a lot of pressure off when you can utilize a system that's been around for over a decade, that has time-tested, conversion-optimized templates for you to use out of the box, that makes you feel confident when you put your marketing forward and doesn't get you bogged down in all the technical mumbo-jumbo that doing your own website might do. Right. I've done websites back with front page and HTML and all that, hard coded stuff, all the way up till today, through WordPress and then Leadpages. And I can tell you, you don't need all the technical stuff for a website, or even with landing pages, to do it by hand, or even to have to outsource it to somebody else. Mm-hmm. Now, if you do want to outsource it because that's, you value your time more than the money in your bank account, that's okay too. But with Leadpages, we wanted to give you the choice of having the ability quickly, and then by quickly, I mean within an hour, of putting up your first landing page online, connected to your own domain, showcasing your free offer, showcasing your business, whatever it happens to be, and also giving the ability to do a full website if you wanted to, and not have to hassle with plugins and all the security issues that you might typically see with different types of website builders. We have a great support team that is here to help out. They're very passionate about helping people help other people. And so when you're in the world that you're in of transforming the lives of your clients, it's nice to know that you have real humans over on the Leadpages side, making sure that you get the help that you need. If you run into a challenge, a lot of times, I don't know if you've seen this yet, Carrie, for yourself, but they'll make a quick video inside your account showing you where things need to go in order to put them into place, whether it's connecting your domain or just making the sections on your page do what you want them to do. etc. The pages themselves are really great for you to get started with because they are optimized for conversions. They also look good, so you're not going to feel like you put a crappy page together. It's already going to look good out of the box. And yeah, I would just encourage you to start up a trial. Make sure that you're utilizing all the resources that are inside the dashboard that you have, and don't wait to put yourself out there or to take the next marketing move in your business, because this kind of thing can happen very fast. And there's somebody out there. I truly believe this. There's somebody out there just waiting to hear your message. And if you're hiding behind the fact that you don't have a really good web presence yet, using Leadpages can get you there much faster.
Beautiful. I love that. And absolutely. And I would add to that, somebody's out there waiting for you. And if you don't show them that you exist, they will go with someone else. So make sure that it's you that gets your web presence out there, offering your gifts so that they can go with you and benefit from your skills and your knowledge and your experience. And there's a link below this video where if you click, you can get your free Leadpages trial and then test it out. Come and ask me any questions that you might have as you're doing it, or guidance on what to put on your landing pages. Bob, this has been an absolute joy. It's been a real pleasure. Thank you for your time. Thank you for sharing your knowledge and expertise with us. It's been fabulous. Thank you.
You're very welcome, Carrie. And as I'm at Bob the Teacher on all the socials, those of you watching, send me a comment. Let me know what questions you have as a result. As Carrie mentioned, send her questions as well. But I'm always excited to hear, like, what was the big aha that you had from this conversation that helps you that helps propel you into taking action and revising later. Thanks so much, Carrie, for having me today.
Beautiful. Thanks, Bob.